From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Robin Chan with today's voice briefing. It's Thursday, June 15th, 2023.
I'm Frank Witzel with the Detroit Free Press. Angie and Dave Morthland, a retired Mackinac City couple, watched a deer go for a swim in the Straits of Mackinac. We were sitting outside in our chairs and I tapped Dave and said, "What the heck is that?" Angie Morthland recently recalled. A deer had just gone in the water and started swimming. It didn't look right at first. We thought, is that a moose? Is that an otter? We got the camera out and binoculars and saw it was a deer. It was the first time Angie Morthland said she ever saw anything like that. The two said they spied the animal and observed it for more than an hour. The Morthlands, who are divided on whether it was a buck or a doe, said the deer waded in the water at the northern tip of the Lower Peninsula. Conservation groups and experts say there are documented cases of swimming deer. They get out of the water to find food and escape threats, but mostly stay on land. And the World of Deer said many people don't realize it, but they are excellent swimmers, reaching speeds of around 15 miles per hour in the water. They are much stronger and more versatile than you probably imagined. It certainly was more, the Morthland said, than they had ever imagined, except, of course, for reindeer that fly.
From personal finance columnist Susan Tompor, the Federal Reserve had little leeway to sit this one out, and did. On Wednesday, the Fed announced that it would pause and not raise interest rates for what would have been the 11th time in a row since March of 2022. The Fed last raised rates by 0.25 percentage point on May 3rd. The short-term federal funds rate, which directly influences a variety of rates, including those on credit cards, private student loans, small business loans, and home equity lines of credit, will stay put at a range of 5% to 5.25%. Back in May, the Fed stated that, quote, tighter credit conditions for households and businesses are likely to weigh on economic activity, hiring, and inflation. The extent of these effects remain uncertain. End quote. The Fed repeated that sentiment on Wednesday. In its June statement, the Fed also stated, quote, holding the target range steady at this meeting allows the committee to assess additional information and its implications for monetary policy. End quote. The Fed needed to step back and pause in June to judge where the economy is going after the steady round of earlier rate hikes. All the impact of higher rates isn't immediate. Inflation has started to cool off, and the employment picture and economy have been stronger than many had expected back in the fall of last year. For more on this story, you can search for Susan Tompor's article, Fed Leaves Interest Rates Alone for Now as Inflation Cools, on Freep.com.
I'm Andrew Burkle with the Free Press Sports Department, and Wednesday at Comerica Park, you'd be forgiven if you thought the year was 2012, because Miguel Cabrera almost looked like his old Triple Crown self. In the bottom of the second inning, Miguel Cabrera stepped up to the plate against Spencer Strider, one of the best pitchers in baseball for the Atlanta Braves. Strider mistakenly thought he could test the 40-year-old Cabrera with an inside fastball. It's safe to say that was a mistake. Cabrera turned to the pitch and blasted it to left center field, clearing the bullpen and traveling over 400 feet. It had that vintage Cabrera crack off the bat, a throwback to the effortless power the slugger used to have once upon a time. It was Cabrera's first home run of the 2023 season, and like the team he plays for, this year hasn't exactly been easy for Cabrera. He started slow with his batting average dropping to $169 near the end of May. But over the last week or so, Cabrera seems to have found something. He finished game one of Wednesday's doubleheader 3 for 5 with a double that nearly cleared the wall in left center as well. And now is hitting .478 with 6 extra base hits in his past 7 games. That's not too bad for the Venezuelan native battling it out for his last rodeo. For more on Cabrera's big day and the Tigers series with the Braves, head to the sports section of our website at freep.com/sports.
Find more from the Detroit Free Press by visiting Freep.com. That's FREEP.com. Thanks for listening, and you'll hear more from us tomorrow.